Hi, my name's Kim. I'm an East Asian medical provider and a Taoist practitioner. And this week I had a really interesting question. I had someone say that they wanted to meditate, they just couldn't figure out how to do it. And part of it is it just seems so hard because everything's so noisy today. And that's the truth of it, right? It is really noisy out there. Today, 95% of the US population, it's estimated, lives in the city. And when I grew up, it was more like something like 40% lived in the city, so 67% of us lived in the country. And cities are a lot of fun, right? I mean, you can go out at night, you can go to the movies, you can go out to eat, you've got all your friends there. There's always something to do. And if you think about it, what about the internet? I mean, how many of us are like constantly connected? I am out here in the middle of nowhere, and guess what? I still have my cell phone with me. So we are constantly stimulating our mind. We are constantly activating our mind to be active. So we are constantly keeping ourselves on high alert.
The thing that's different when we're meditating is we want to teach our mind how to calm down.
Let's talk about trilogies, okay? Because in every major philosophy, in every major religion, they talk about the trilogy. And what's the trilogy? Well, it's this three thing. Now, if you look at Buddhism, if you look at Taoism, if you look at Hindu, if you look at those philosophies, this trilogy talks about heaven, man, and earth. And another way of looking at it is the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. So there's this trilogy of who we are as an individual. And if you think about what we do today, we go to school for 1 billion years, and not really, at least 12 usually, and sometimes 16, and sometimes 24. So we go to school and we train the mental. We're putting all this effort into training our mental mind to do things. And then we also do a lot for a physical, right? Because we'll go out and we'll exercise, and we might do sports. We might have a specific sport that we really want to be good at, and we'll put a lot of effort into doing our physical too. But we put no effort into the spiritual. And part of that becomes a problem because when we try to start, we're like, oh, now I want to meditate. And we haven't been trained. We have no training to understand how do we get to meditation. Okay, so I'm going to give you a thought that you could use if you wanted to. And this thought is one of the ways that I was able to finally start getting my meditation back, because I had gone through like this insane period of crazy stress, and I just was so unhealthy at the end of it, and I couldn't sit still, I couldn't read, I couldn't do anything that asked my mind to be just even a little bit quiet. So let me tell you one of the ways that I went about getting back, okay? One of the best places to help you start quieting your mind is taking time out in nature. And why I say that is because nature is actually a part of us, right? If we look at our body, and we like to think that we're this independent thing that's separate from nature and that's separate from the universe, but we're not. The only reason why we're here is because we're interacting with the universe. We're taking in the things that it gives us, and we're giving back things that it needs. So we're taking in foods that we change into different substances that allow us to live. And when we exhale, we give them back carbon, we give them back fertilizer, we give back what the world needs, and it gives us what it needs. It's a step-by-step process, finding your spirituality again. And here's the thing. You're here because this is what you're supposed to do, is you're supposed to start reconnecting with your spirituality. There is a massive change going on right now in the universe, and you're seeing more and more people find unique ways into their own internal spirituality. And when we hook up with our spirituality again, that's when we start to understand right from wrong. Because today, come on, let's be real, there's a lot of people doing things that are really wrong, and they don't seem to have a problem with it. And the only way you could do that is if you were completely disconnected from your spirituality. And here's the other thing that I didn't realize is there's not just one way to meditate. There's like thousands of ways to meditate. And I like stationary, still meditation where I'm sitting cross-legged and doing meditation like that. But that's not the only type of meditation out there. There's moving meditation, and you know about that because you know about Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga. Those are all moving meditations. But how do you get to all of this? How do you get to those levels where your mind's already quiet? Well, there's steps that you can take to get to that. And just like when you were training your mind as a kid, how did they train you? How did they train your mental thought process? Well, they started out with teaching you letters, teaching you numbers, then teaching you how to add those numbers, teaching you how to sound out those letters. So, starting back there, starting back at the beginning where you can find success and you can find enjoyment, because that's the thing about meditation. It's not a forced process, it's an enjoyment. And the other thing that's really interesting about nature is it's so much bigger than us. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling stressed out, you can go out into nature and that will calm your mind. And that's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to take those first steps to help you calm your mind. And you're going to pick the nature that works for you. In Chinese medicine, there's 5 elements, and these elements are about the energies that make up the world. So there's energies that move up, there's energies that move down, there's energies that disperse, and those energies are represented by elements: water, wood, fire, earth, metal, 5 of them. What they mean in our body and why we would gravitate to one energy versus the other. But you're going to know which energy you like. You're going to go out and you're going to be by water and you're going to say, oh, this is like the most relaxing thing. Or you're going to be in a forest and you're going to say, oh, I feel so taken care of here in this forest. Or you're going to be like here where I am in open skies and by mountains. And you're going to say, I just feel so grounded here. So you're going to know what works for you. And my thoughts are, just go out into nature. Go out someplace where there's not millions of people around you that are talking at you, that are in your space and so noisy. Go someplace where it's just a little bit quieter and see what happens there. I'll do another video where I talk about these 5 energies, what they mean in our body, and why we would gravitate to one energy versus the other. So that's my thought. Find nature. Find someplace you love to be. You know what? It could even be something as simple as being in your garden, planting flowers, taking care of a plant. It doesn't have to be this dramatic. This dramatic works for me because I always like being out in nature. So this works for me. But you do you. You find what nature makes you calm, helps quiet your mind, and start there. And I'll talk more about this so that you can better understand some of the steps to getting to your spirituality and reconnecting with what we've lost thousands of years ago. Okay, until next time, I'll catch you. on the other side.